Shop smart, shop S-smart.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of New Book Who Dis.
I'm your host. Okay. Forgot to turn off the sound effects there. I'm your host, Death Metal Hero, and this is a professional outfit we got running here. And with me tonight is Vaugh Coleman. We're going to be talking Phenomenova. How's it going, Vaughn? Good to see you, man.
It's going well, man. I was just editing a video, and so I've just been creating all day, so that's always good. It's always good.
Yeah, man. I mean, that is the life of an independent comic book creator. Always, what is it? Always be hustling. Always be creating.
Always.
Yeah. Always got something going on.
Everything takes longer than you think. Everything.
Oh, of course. Especially video editing, man. Damn. Video
well,
editing is
with this one because I was like, oh, I'll make a video essay. The new Final Fantasy is out. I've always wanted to do one talking about the original FF7, and then I was like, let me gush about it. And then that turned into 49 pages. And I'm like, all right, well, the screenwriting that is like a page a minute. So, maybe it'll be a little more, and it's 2 hours and 14 minutes long. I just did an hour and 8 minutes. So,
yeah. Yep. And, see, that's the thing about YouTube recently. They either want like a minute-long video for the YouTube Shorts, or they want really long videos like that.
No in between.
So, yeah, there is no in between. And I think that's because a lot of people are putting things on in the background. They're listening to them. Yes, so the video essays, that's not a bad thing, man. It's not a bad thing. So, it may end up working in your favor.
Yeah.
It being that long. So, but yeah, that's the way it goes, man.
I'm always doing something else. I'm playing a video game, or I'm doing something usually when I'm watching a live stream,
Right. Well, usually when I'm watching a live stream, I'm drawing.
That's what I was going to say.
Working on a comic book, or, a pinup for a print or something like that. Getting prepared for Heroes Con, in June.
Oh, you're going to that too?
Yeah, I'm going to be at Heroes Con. Yep, I'm going to be tabling with Shattermare Comics. I'll have my own table, but we're gonna have like 3 tables all together. It's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to this one because this is a say again.
I'm mooching off Arenas. That's what I'm doing.
I see. Well, yeah. Hey, at least you're gonna be there, and you'll be able to hang out and maybe sell some merch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's a comic-centric con.
Yes.
Which is something you can't say about a lot of them these days.
Yeah.
A lot of them seem to be, just about they're about pop culture, as it were, not necessarily about comic books.
Which equates to really comic books kind of go to the bottom of the totem pole at that point because it's like movies, anime, video games. And then you suddenly realize how low on the totem pole comics are. Which look, I love it all.
Right, me too. But comics have always kind of been the redheaded stepchild of the media, empire, as it were. Especially books, like novels and books and stuff. Oh, you read comic books? Turn their nose up at you. Yeah. But some of the highest grossing films of all time have been based on comic books.
But that doesn't.
I mean, one of the biggest media juggernauts ever created, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, came from a little independent black and white comic book, that was far more violent than the cartoon ever was.
Yeah, and even outside of that, I mean, Hollywood movies have been pulling from it. Like when I was reading Claremont's run, there were some similarities I was noticing to some James Cameron movies, and I was like, "There's no way this is around the same time period." I mean, like for example, do you remember that one issue of X-Men where there's that truck with the liquid nitrogen that they use on Colossus, and then they burn him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. Sounds like a little bit like T2.
Oh yeah, makes you wonder where old Jimmy Cameron got that idea from, huh?
Yeah, or how about the Brood Saga came out between Alien and Aliens, right? So it's clearly inspired by Alien, but it introduced the idea that there's a brood queen, that they have a hive, and that they take on traits of who they. And then suddenly Aliens comes out,
and then you know, well, I mean, Jim Cameron was supposed to be doing a Spider-Man movie at one point.
He was supposed to be doing X-Men as well at one point.
Yep, and he spoke to Claremont quite a bit. You know, as a matter of fact, he was supposed to do the X-Men film first, and then Stan Lee started talking to him about Spider-Man, and then you know it just all went to shit from there. But yeah, Jim Cameron definitely was paying attention to comic books back in the day, and it's they've always had a huge influence on movies and media.
Yeah, I mean they'll never
admit it.
Creators, never, especially not the you don't want to. Dude, those artists would be happy just to have their names in the credits, and it's like, no, it's too much. Like I was watching, so Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. I've been watching them back in theaters, and I feel like even though technically you could, they pull from a lot of stuff, right? Like I feel like at least Romita should have been credited. I mean, Mary Jane was in that. You had the Osborns. I feel like hang on, was the Osborns?
I agree.
Ditko, actually. Hang on, I got that wrong. That was Ditko was the Osborns, right?
Harry Osborn was one of the early characters. Yeah, he was Harry was Peter's one of Peter's best friends, like from way back in the day. So
right, but I think it was towards the end of Ditko. I have it right here. I think it was the end of Ditko's run. Yeah. All right, it was not Romita. It was Ditko.
Yeah, the Green Goblin, however, I think was partial creation of Romita Senior. Yeah. But you know, company men, you know, back in the day, that's they didn't get credit back in the day because they were company guys. But before we get too far into this, let's go ahead and say hello to the chat. We got a jumping chat going on here. My erstwhile co-host on Topicless Unhinged, Jason Bascom. Your mother was a snowblower. Yeah, well, your father smelt of elderberries. Good to see you, buddy. Haldir, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Hey, there's my lovely lady. Skull, beautiful. Good to see you. Thank you for always being here. My partner in crime and favorite troublemaker. I actually just got back from visiting her up in South Carolina.
Yeah, so real life friends. It's cool.
Yeah.
Pedro, long time.
What's up, Pedro? Good to see you, sir. What's up, Luke? What's up, Vaughn? What's up, chat? Welcome. Good to see you, sir. Haldir says, Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games. I'm looking forward to your video, Vaughn.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
For getting it done. It's been a little scroll. I worked till like the AM yesterday. And then today, let's see. I think I'm going to move much faster because I like speed through the plot of the game. So we'll see.
Right.
I can move faster now.
Yeah, see, Final Fantasy VII was actually one of the ones that I did not play. I played 8 and 9 and a little bit of 10. But yeah, I never played 7. The remake of 7 looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it does. I have mixed thoughts on this. So far, the story of the new one is good. But the problem with it is, so it's splitting into 3 parts. And the first part was really good until they decided to, let's do our own thing. And I was like, how about you don't? Do your own thing, please.
How about you quit messing with the story? It was good already. Yeah.
And so the new one seems to be doing the same thing right now where it's really good, but I'm like, I know they're going to do something in the last chapter and I'm probably not going to like it, but I'm liking it now. And that's what matters.
Well, I mean, you know, they might surprise you. Every now and then they'll throw you a curveball by actually doing something good with the story rather than, you know, royally screwing the pooch.
Yeah, people talk about subverting expectations. I feel like the best subversion today would just be actually accurately
telling a good story.
Yeah. Or just following the source material. That would be the real subversion.
Yeah. Well, that was the plan all along. They've been subverting expectations for so long, and now the expectation is that they're going to fuck it up and not, you know, pay attention to the source material. So now they can pay attention to the source material, and you'll be surprised again. I don't know. Maybe that's just wishful thinking on my part.
I think that's wishful thinking. I think you're giving them way too much credit. I think that they just look at it like
entirely.
Like, for example, I was looking up the Godzilla American movie, and just it's such a fascinating behind the scenes story that they were like, yeah, we don't really want to do Godzilla, and they're like, oh, okay. And they just kind of
you're talking about the 1999 one with Zilla. Yeah, oh God.
Zilla.
That movie was bad.
Apparently,
I mean, I enjoyed the design of Godzilla at the, it was kind of a neat take on the design, but that story was just terrible.
I don't even think I've watched the whole movie. I think I've only seen part.
It's probably not worth it.
And
What's up, Miss Good Stuff? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you showing up. We got Immortal Rising. What's up, Aaron? Good to see you, sir. Thanks for being here, man. Let's see. Scrolling. Aaron says, I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 while listening. Nice. That's fun, man. I've actually never played them. Is that the one that they did the online one?
So.
Yeah, the one that launched horribly and then they rebooted it and relaunched it and it was suddenly really good again.
That seems like a common story in recent
years. Hey, you remember? Well, I mean, I remember back in the day when video games had to be good when they launched because there was no, day one patch. There was no update. There was no relaunching it. Yeah. What's up, Will? Creators Outlet says, "Hail nerds, freaks, and geeks." That is accurate. That's what we are. Pedro says that's 4D chess, Luke. These guys play checkers. Yes, I agree, Pedro. I agree. Every now and then, maybe they might surprise us. I don't know. It's doubtful.
If they do, they'll go back on it. Did you see the Stellar Blade stuff? Nuts.
It's fucking ridiculous. This is why most people are going back to playing, old games. They're not even bothering with new games just because they always lie. They always go back on their word. Oh, it's going to be uncensored everywhere. Really?
I bought the game. I haven't even played it yet, and it's already a fiasco.
Don't update it. Don't disconnect your PS5 from the internet and play it just what's on the disc.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah, I mean that because that is the uncensored version. Otherwise, we over here in the West are going to get the censored version because idiotic reasons.
Yeah, that's the thing is people don't understand. They're like, oh, what is this not hot enough for you? That's not the point. The point is if it and then people are like, it's not a big deal. I'm like, I agree. So why did you change it?
Exactly.
It's
the creator's original vision of it, the original version. Why did it have to be changed? Because people complained about nothing. That's not a big deal. If it's not a big deal, you don't need to change it.
Yeah, like if you wanted to have like a really feminine male character in the game, and I'd be like, I'm not interested. I'd be like, okay, so I just wouldn't buy the game.
Right.
And that would be it. I'd be like, okay, bye.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. So in this regard, it's kind of a bait and switch. Like, the other thing is like, there's an entire subsection of women that actually enjoy seeing beautiful, sexy, powerful, strong, feminine women in video games. And so we're just going to completely ignore that subsection of the world, huh? And cater to people that are offended by literally fucking everything. How about no?
Yeah. Are they paying? Yeah. I don't think so.
No, the people that complain aren't going to buy the game anyway. So disregard their fucking opinion. What's up, Jonas? Good to see you, sir. Welcome. And we got Pale Rider. The manly champ is here. You're welcome. Oh, yes. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here, Mr. Manly Pole Rider. All right, scrolling. See, I agree. We all want the steamy, sleazy vision of the creator. This is not church. Exactly.
Yeah.
I
have no problem if you want to make like a more like that's the thing. If they want to do their whatever character designs, do it in your own thing. It's no big deal. It's really like
make your own game. Stop fucking with other people's creations.
The Last of Us has more realistic, female designs. I like that. Well, I like the first one. We don't need to talk about
the first Last of Us. Yeah, that was a fun game. I played that one.
I don't know if I'd bother with the second one. It was pretty depressing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a post-apocalyptic game. Most post-apocalyptic games are not fun in the strictest sense. I mean, the gameplay mechanics were pretty cool.
They were actually pretty fun.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's a problem with a lot of video games these days is that the gameplay hook just isn't there. They're relying mostly on graphics. And, it looks super realistic. Yeah, but how does it play? Is it fun to play? No? Well, then I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good story is a good, and that's I used to always be like the game looks old and not play it, and now it's like I want to play. That's one thing I will say, and this is why it's tough being a new creator. Is all this recent stuff being bad is meaning that people are diving back into the past, which is great.
Yep.
It means we're exploring more stuff in the past, which I mean I already was anyway, because like everything's the past to me basically. But
right.
but
I mean, there's
means
40, almost 50 years of history, of video game history that you can go back to, and so many good games.
And true with comics too, right? Like most of my
yeah.
favorite comics, if you look on my shelf, is mostly older stuff. I don't have a lot of recent stuff, and I dive back into the past. But the problem is that sometimes we miss what's currently going on, and so I feel like when I'm creating a comic, I'm competing with today, but I'm also in a way competing for people's attention from the past because they could go back and read any comic from the day. So it's like convincing people, that something new is worth buying is crucial.
To pay attention to what's coming out now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Will says, been playing that game since Sega Master System. Yeah. Let's see. Pedro says, we're not supposed to love a gene anymore. Well, too bad. They ain't going to change me. Never going to change me.
I'm not gay. You can't make.
I mean, hey, to each their own. But I like women like I like mountain roads, curvy and dangerous.
Oh, that's a good one. Never heard that one.
Exactly.
That's a good one.
Pale Rider says, don't play video games, snort coke, be a man. I don't think so.
Nah.
You go ahead and have that Drano powder, buddy. Yeah. And say, what's up, Anthony? What's up, peeps? He says.
How you doing,
Good
Anthony?
to see you, sir. Thanks for coming to hang out with us.
Anthony and I live close to each other, but we've only hung out like once.
Oh yeah, you're up in that area, up in the Jersey area.
Yeah. Jersey Central. I know Carrot Top's son. Carrot Top.
Wow,
that's a good
Carrot
one.
Top's son, huh?
Although my hair is blonde.
Yeah.
Mom's a redhead though, so.
Well, I mean, maybe it'll become more carrot as you get older. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, I don't. Maybe it's just the lighting, or maybe Pale Rider snorted too much coke and you can't really see what color. Colors don't mean anything when you're that high on coke anymore. But yeah. So yeah, there's a history of video games that you can go back and check out. There's a history of movies and comic books, and there's not even just the mainstream stuff from back in the day. There's a lot of indie stuff from back in the day as well. So I hear you when it comes to making something new. People have kind of been, I don't know, almost turned off from new comics just because the stories are so bad. So trying to convince people to pick up something new is kind of an uphill battle, Sisyphean, if you will.
Yeah, and I think another thing too is, and I was talking about this in an earlier interview today, is someone was asking me like, what turns you off from modern comics or like whatever, and it's like, well, part of the reason is right. You okay? Let's say there is a good run going. I know someone outside of the creative team is going to step in and screw it up at any given point. And you could argue there's always been a sense of editorial interference. I won't argue with that. Like Claremont's run ended because of it eventually. Yeah. And there were many instances during it, right? But the difference is that was still a 17-year run. He still was able to just keep his vision going, And you have today, I mean, look at how many of my favorite stories, I look at all of them, like how many of them, as I'm reading through old comics, even the more, because everyone's always like, oh, X-Men was always, whatever. It's like, all right, well, that wouldn't be made today. That panel, that character, that, and it's like, you go through it and it's like, yeah, I don't think so. It's just, it feels like nothing could get made today, or that like, even I was reading current X-Men, and even in the span of like 8 or so issues I read, there were so many instances where I'm like, that's someone inserting their own thing. That character wouldn't do that. And I'm like, dude, how are there this many examples in this few issues? And there was a lot of good stuff, but it was like, it's just not worth it because I know they could just drag it away at any minute.
Yeah, I was really I enjoyed Hickman's, because when Hickman's run on X-Men started, I was still working in my local comic shop, and Hickman had a good idea with the X-Men. He had this big brain idea And it was really cool. It kind of got people to pick up X-Men again. And then editorial got a hold of it. And they basically hijacked his idea and decided that they weren't going to let him continue his story, so they kind of stalled it, midway through, and then we got this Krakoa era of X-Men, and it just went to absolute dog shit. And, editorial has been fucking up stories for the last 15, 20 years. Mm-hmm. There are a few creators that are still, worthwhile. I mean, Mark Millar, Jonathan Hickman, just to name a couple, they actually know how to tell a good story. The problem is that these jackass editors and junior editors don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. They don't know anything about the past. They want to be a part of Marvel because it looks good on their CV. It looks good on their resume. Right. It's because it's a well-known brand now. And unfortunately, when shit gets popular, you have people that bandwagon jump and just want to be part of what's popular. They don't give a damn. They don't have any they don't have any prior knowledge. They don't have any love for this stuff. If you look at the older stuff, even the editors that, kind of gave Claremont a hard time back in the day, they still loved comics because they grew up reading comics. They understood comics, and they were trying to tell a good story. They were trying to entertain the audience. That's not what they're trying to do these days. No. They just want to they want to use this as a platform to shine themselves rather than tell a good story and have the characters shine. Right. What's up, Pops? Says, hey-yo from Twix. Welcome. They got no blood in the game. They didn't even buy comics. Exactly. Most of them did not buy comics and will never buy comics. What's up, Ray? Good to see you, sir. Thanks for coming to hang out. Yeah, and that's the problem. Is that they don't have a history of reading comics. If you look at the heyday of comics, you had Claremont, who grew up reading comics. John Byrne grew up reading comics. Yeah. Grew up reading like Jack Kirby and Stan Lee's stuff. And then you had Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri and Todd McFarlane. They grew up reading John Byrne and Chris Claremont and Jim Shooter stuff. And then they came in and they wanted to tell good stories that were an homage or reminiscent of the cool stuff that they read as a kid. And that's why we got great stuff, in the late 80s, early 90s. And then after that, shit just kind of became popular, and then it just kind of went downhill because, people don't care about the genre. They don't care about the characters. They just want to look cool. It's not about making a good story. It's about, being part of the in thing now, the cool clique, as it were. And I fully believe that's why we have such terrible stories these days. Yeah, they don't understand the characters and they don't care.
No, they don't care at all. They don't. And the thing is, like, I came from a film background, and I got into it through like the animated shows and the movies. But then I graduated to comics, and through there I was reading them, and I always had this understanding that they all came from somewhere else, right? That there was always a source material that needs to be respected, and the more I read, the more I like it.
Right. Pale Rider says, that's why I respect strippers. They never stop trying to entertain their audience. Exactly, because they know that's how they get their money. They entertain the audience, give the audience what they want. They're going to get that cheddar. And that's why they're in that business.
I'm feeling like, unironically, do strippers have more care for their customers?
I mean, they have more respect, I guess, for entertaining their customers than current day Marvel. Yeah,
that's sad. That's really sad.
Yeah. I mean, it is. Maybe they could learn something from these hardworking ladies.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man. It's
that's funny.
Dark Gift says yes, Vaughn. Yes, they do. Well, see, there you go. Respect your audience, respect your customers, give them what they want, and they will keep coming back for more.
They may not respect themselves, but they respect,
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily know that.
Well, I guess I don't know that. That's true.
Yeah, strippers have integrity and work ethics. Yes, exactly. Working hard to entertain the audience and make that money.
Yeah, making money.
Aaron says, I'm not looking for a BJ from a Marvel exec. That's probably a good thing. That sounds awful. They can't make comics. I shudder to think what they would do with that job. Most strippers I have met are pretty honest about who they are, but I wasn't talking to them from across the table with $20 in my hand. Yeah, I mean, it's going to a comic book convention, you got $20 in your hand, you want a good book, and maybe you get an entertaining comic book from the person that's across the table. Maybe you don't. Hopefully you do. But speaking of comic books, that's why we're here tonight. We're here to talk about Phenomenova. Why don't you give us a little bit of background on where this story came from? What was your inspiration for?
So like I said, I grew up watching the movies and stuff. And yeah, so it was popular, when I was into it, but I did eventually become a comic fan. But I was always a creative. I wanted to be a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being really inspired by like the X-Men movie and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movie, especially.
Yeah.
And I think I was in second grade when I came up with the idea that would become Phenomenova and the character. And it was that origin story. And even still, especially I recently watched the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 1 and 2 again in theaters. And but like I would pull from that a lot. And I was really into it. And
Sam Raimi really understood the character. He loved he loved Spider-Man and those characters. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
No, you're right. You could tell. And I remember I came up with this idea. And then it would kind of go on the back for a while, and it would keep coming back. And eventually, I would just, I remember like it came back, and then it was an animated series instead of a series of movies, and the idea would evolve. And eventually I came up with more details. And then I was in college, and for some reason I caught the comic bug again. Like I'll catch it.
Good.
And this set was the strongest I ever got it. And I really started caring about the medium in a deeper way than just, I really like the story and these characters, where I started looking at the artists and started really paying attention to and it was the first time I ever really, like, I guess I did like a Wonder Woman run, but like usually I'd read like trades or like a couple volumes, but this is the first time I really dove into a long run. And since then I've started a couple.
Right.
And I'm looking at it now. So it was, I was just talking about it earlier. Where did I put it? Here we go. I guess because I've been doing so many interviews, I've taken it out so many times.
Yeah.
Size X-Men #1.
Yep.
And then from there, I was reading through, and I was so fascinated by the long running storytelling. And in the film world, which is, what I was studying, it was like, I'd have to come up with these big budget ideas and then scale them down, or realize I had to go through the studio system because there's no way I could get that kind of money. And with the comics, you could pump out like a couple big budget adventures at a faster rate. And, I was like, this is perfect. You could do it. And then I grew to love the medium more. And as I was turning from screenwriting to comic book writing, I'm going to still do both. I was like fascinated by the differences, not just the format, but the mediums that, okay, I can't do this in a comic that I can do in a movie, but I can do this in a comic that I can't. And so it made me appreciate both more. And I remember the first job I got in comics was right here, Hunter Ninja Bear.
Nice.
Hold on, wrong copy. This one right here. And I was an assistant editor on this book. And
hell yeah.
I don't know if you can really see it.
Hey, your camera is not playing nice with the focus there, but
no, it's not.
Yeah.
But I promise you it's real. Yeah, and so that was really cool. And from there, I was just kind of like, wow, that's really cool. And I was like, I want to do more. And I saw the crowdfunding whole scene, and I felt like I could still get all these big ideas I've had forever could be attainable, if not more attainable, in comics. I'm not done with film necessarily, but I decided I wanted to pivot my focus.
Right.
And I like doing YouTube videos anyway. And I actually at first I wasn't sure about streaming, but I actually grew to like it. And since then I've been working at this, and I wanted to do this like next big superhero story. I felt like we were missing a new IP, and everything else is being very corporate and taken over. And so I kind of wanted to start something new.
Hell yeah. So you've had the story of Phenomenova basically kicking around in your head since you were 2?
Second grade,
Like,
so like 7.
second grade. That yeah. I knew there was a 2 in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure there were reflections even earlier.
Right. I mean, that's awesome, man. You know, I mean,
name, but yeah.
I grew up reading comics. My dad got me into comics when I was 3 years old. I mean, I couldn't even read comics when I was first introduced to them. I was just looking at the pictures. You know, I could tell what was kind of tell what was going on because, you know, the pictures, you know, following along the images. But I remember getting you know, learning to read. My mom was teaching me how to read with flashcards, and I eventually learned how to read. And I remember just this entire world just opening up for me when I could finally read the words, and there was so much depth, and I could you know, get to know the characters better. You know, I wanted to know what Spider-Man, Batman, and the Fantastic Four were saying. So you know, it's very cool to hear the story of somebody kind of coming into comics, you know, later on in life, and you know, catching that comic bug and going back and checking out the old stuff that, you know, a lot of us grew up with. And it actually makes me really happy to hear that, you know, that you love that old stuff, because there was a timeless quality to it. You know, it still resonates to this day, and it still works, and it makes me happy to hear that, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that the problem is that people are writing too much for the times and not to be timeless, and I think that is a big problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, that happens in film too. There are certain films that are timeless in the way they're made. Sure, they have, like, you know, technology of the era and whatnot, and that's, you know, kind of gives them a certain niche in time. But at the same time, the story that they're telling is timeless. That's why, you know, you keep coming back to it, and you can watch it over and over again, and it's still enjoyable. You know, I mean, Alien, for example, we were talking about that earlier. You know, yes, the retro future look of it, you know, the technology that they had there looks very, you know, retro. But at the same time, that story is timeless. It still works. You can still go back and watch it over and over again. It's still a good flick, you know, because it's a good story. You know, John Carpenter's The Thing. Oh, yeah, the characters are great. Yeah. Love John Carpenter's The Thing. I mean, I realize that's a remake, but it's a damn good remake. You know, Carpenter knew what he was doing. You know, also speaking of Carpenter, They Live is another fantastic flick.
Halloween, you know? That's my favorite horror movie. My poster fell off the wall, but it is there.
The original Halloween is great.
Oh yeah.
The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You ever seen the original Black Christmas from 1974?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely love that flick. So yeah, there's a certain timeless quality about good, well-written stories, and it makes me happy to hear that you picked up on the timelessness of you know, comic books from back in the day.
Yeah.
What's up, Matt? Comics used to give me a headache, he says. LOL. I don't know. Maybe it was just getting used to words and images together. Maybe that means your brain was expanding, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember sometimes, like, as much as I love, like, Claremont or whatever, sometimes it'd be like it's too late in the night, and I'm like, I can't read these word balloons, man. Like, I'm just gonna pass out. I'll read something later.
Well, I mean, you know, that's Claremont, unfortunately.
And I love it. No, I love it. I love his writing style.
Claremont's a little wordy. You know, that's always been the biggest criticism of his run on X-Men, is that he can get a little verbose. It's because he's got a lot going on up here. He's got a lot of vocabulary. You know, he's got a lot of words to say. But you know, overall, his 17-year run is for the most part beloved. You know.
Yes.
Yeah. But all right, let's take a look at the campaign here. And it appears you've got a trailer, so we'll go ahead and take a look at that. Now, hopefully, you can hear it. Is there sound?
Yes.
Okay. All right, there we go. Yeah, I can hear it. Ha! I didn't boomer it. I'm proud of myself.
When the whole world was dragged into World War III, brave men like my father fought on the front lines. And they weren't alone. That was 20 years ago. Now it's up to us to carry on their legacy. And every so often, the earth from which we come gives way for something new, something greater, to be born. And with them, even greater threats to face. Bring it on! Phenomenova.
Dig it.
For you, Dad. For you.
There we go.
Dig it. Sorry about the text over everything, everybody. For some reason, it did not want to didn't want to clear off. But very cool trailer. Did you put together the trailer yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Must be the old trailer because it still has March 29th. But I guess it's launched anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's the one that's up on the campaign there.
Yeah.
And launching on Fund My Comic. That's fantastic, man. I'm happy to see you're using Fund My Comic.
Yeah.
I believe we need more of that, man. You know, Indiegogo and Kickstarter really don't seem to care, especially Indiegogo. You know,
Indiegogo is the worst of the two. I don't care what anyone says in terms of what they're doing. The blatant shadow banning.
And for no reason whatsoever. They'll take your money, but they're not going to give you the support that you deserve for using their campaign. The whole point of using their platform is to, you know, get out there to more eyeballs. And if you can't do that, then what's the point of being on the platform? You know, you might as well be on a platform that actually cares about getting your book out there and you know, getting people to pay attention.
Yeah, like I'm on the featured picks right now, right? I would never be on Indiegogo or maybe Kickstarter. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, you know, you could always run a second chance campaign or a different cover or something like that, second printing on Kickstarter.
Yeah, I'm gonna do on Kickstarter as well with its own cover. But yeah.
You know, that's Brian Polito. He's made an entire business basically of being on Kickstarter. Now, granted, you know, Polito has a long-standing history of you know, making indie comics. I mean, that's my boy, creator of Lady Death. He kind of set the standard for doing this. You know, this whole crowdfunding thing. He was one of the early adopters. Him and Jimmy Palmiotti. Yeah. So, you know, seeing his success on Kickstarter has you know, made me happy. I'm happy to see, you know, Lady Death back in the forefront, and you know, he'll do his Kickstarter campaign, get the prestige format version out there with all the little tchotchkes and the add-ons and stuff like that. Then he'll break it up into two, you know, 22-page floppies and put them in previews and sell them to the comic shop. That way, everybody that wants to get Lady Death can get Lady Death. You know, he's you know, basically making sure that no customer gets left behind. You know, everybody has a chance. You know,
I didn't know that was how he did it. So he makes a big book and then he splits it into parts and puts them in comic shops.
That's
okay, because
right.
I've gotten a few in comic shops, but I didn't know that was how he did it. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, because you've got the square bound, you know, prestige format book that's 48 pages. And then he'll break it up into two 24-page or 22-page, however many pages it is, you know, single floppy issues that are saddle stitched, and then puts those out, you know, with a specific cover for each book in comic shops, and that way there's different versions. And if the collectors really want to get all the versions, they can get those as well. You know. So, you know, you get to, because, I mean, let's be honest, you know, comic books is a collector's medium as well. People like to collect all the different versions. They like being completionists. They like having all the covers. You know, that's why, you know, there's so many different variant covers these days. What's up, some person? Welcome. Let's see. Indiegogo bugs me with the automatic tip. Yeah, you got to be careful about that.
I've had to refund campaigns because of it.
That's just awful. Yeah, that's underhanded as fuck, in my opinion, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I had to like refund. I remember I backed Andy at like a high tier, and then I was like, Andy, I got to refund real quick, so I could just not give them this insane tip.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta make sure that you
20%.
put 0. You know, I honestly wish that instead of typing in a number, I wish I could type "fuck you" in there,
Yeah.
but you know, kind of can't do that. But
And I wish I could charge less for the comics, but I can't. But I did make sure to charge. I was like, I want to at least charge at least $5 less. So for the main cover, it is $20, and then the others. And then the signature. Listen, if you see me at a convention or you know me in person, I'll sign for free. This is just because I know I'm gonna have to go to the fulfillment center. But I know if you really want that signature, $5
Right.
or whatever tier you get, just tell me what you want signed, and I'll sign it all.
yeah. Polito does campaigns like I've never seen. All the little extras are awesome. Yeah, man. I've got so many little extras, little posters and magnets and poker chips and guitar picks and a challenge coin. I've even got a Lady Death condom.
Wow.
So yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff that he puts in there, and you know the people love it. You know, the fans show up for it. You know, and see, that's what we were talking about earlier. You know, give the fans what they want, and they will show up again and again and again. And each one of his campaigns just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And he's been able to recreate. You know, he's been able to create, you know, a new comic book empire with Coffin Comics. Coffin Comics used to be just like his you know, high tier exclusive, you know, like versions of stuff. You know, like the super expensive like gold foil and stuff like that. You know, the high end collector's item stuff. And now he's pumping out comics. He's basically recreated, you know, Chaos Comics with Coffin Comics with new characters, and each character gets their shot in the spotlight. And you know, he keeps working with what works, and you know, things that don't work he doesn't go back to. You know, he may retool it and bring it back later, but he's doing it right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Pale Rider says that he's OnlyFans exclusive. I bet you are. Some person, yes, the Red Valkyrie auction is on May 11th. I will be in the 4 to 7 block, if anybody's interested, and I'll be posting stuff that I'll be selling on that auction very soon. But all right, so let's take a look at the tiers here. So $20 for the main cover, and I think that's awesome. You know, considering you know most of them are 25. Variant cover is so you get to choose which variant cover you want for $25.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's I decided to make it, rather than add it up and have coupon codes, I wanted to make it as easy for people to understand as possible. So then
Absolutely.
There's the variant. I wanted every possible combination to be attainable too. So there's the main cover plus variant.
Nice. And as you guys can see, the variant covers are over here on the side. You got how do you say this person's name?
Sukacia.
Yeah. Ray variant cover. Final Fantasy 7 homage cover. Very cool. Yeah. And then that's Irene's. Okay, so it is going to be colored. It's not going to be black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
But even still, people loving that cover.
I mean, it's pretty striking, even especially in black and white like that. You know, good balance. Yeah, I remember you said that you had to push back the launch because you were waiting to get this cover,
and it was worth the wait. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm sure that a lot of people have been picking it up. 2 variant covers for $50. Oh, damn. So one main cover, 1 variant cover for $45, and then 2 variant covers for $50.
Yeah.
And then 71 main cover in both variants.
Or 2 of the variants is 3 variants.
2 of the variants. Oh, that's right. You got 3 different variants. So that's cool.
And then if you just want the variants, there we go. All 3.
All right. And then all the covers is $95.
Yeah.
115. Give Me Everything includes all 4 covers and an 11x17 poster of the main cover. All variant covers are limited edition campaign exclusive covers. So they the variant covers won't be reprinted on any other campaign. No second chance. You know. So this is the only way to get them, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you can get like maybe I'll make like prints of them down the line, but they won't be covers.
Right. And that's perfectly understandable. See, I think that's the way to do it, honestly.
Yeah.
That rewards the people that jump in on the campaign when it's first live, but it gives people the opportunity to get the image later if they missed out on it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way to do it, man.
And then
All
the
right.
mini print comes
Yeah.
free with everyone. So I know if you're backing a campaign in general, A, I'm an unproven creator. B, you're backing a product that, even though it's mostly done, it is 50. I think we're almost at, he's just doing the finishing touches on the inks, but we're at almost 53 pages penciled and inked, 38 colored,
Nice.
10 have been lettered. But even still, it's not out yet. And so as a thank you, it's almost like a built-in stretch goal bonus, whatever you want to call it, however you want to look
Right.
at it. This free mini print of our main villain comes with every order. So, and you can
Nice.
also get extra, if you scroll all the way down, you can also get for $3 an extra mini print if you want it.
Very cool. Okay. Yep. Extra Dark Cloud mini print right
So
there.
you already get one, but if you're like, I want 2, or I want 3, or I want 4, however many.
Right.
You want.
Or if you want to give one to somebody else,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And see, I like the way you have the campaign set up. I was talking to Chimera yesterday, and I think simple campaign pages are the way to go.
Yeah.
Gets to the point, shows off the artwork, shows off the character, gives a taste of the story, gets people interested, and just simple, straight to the point. I like it. This is a great image right here.
Oh,
I'm guessing this is a double page spread.
Yes, both of those are double page spreads, and I remember that
Nice.
was an image that was like one of those instances where my artist did something that was way cooler than what I envisioned, and I was like revising the script with even more detail. And then he goes, as soon as I'm done, I'm about to send him a message saying, "Hey, check out the revised script," and then I just see a message of the thumbnail. I'm like, you know what? I just don't even bother.
Disregard what I sent you.
yeah.
This is badass.
I'm not even going to send it to you. This is embarrassing. This is amazing. And then my colorist took that to the next level. And when I posted that on Twitter, I remember I got so many signups from that alone. And I'll tell you what, because people love that so much, at the rate we're going, if we hit 15K raised, that is going to be a mini print that everyone gets free.
Well, there you go. Hell yeah. Stretch goal. Yeah, and see, this is why you hire people that know what they're doing.
Yes.
This is why you hire talented people to work with you. And comics are always a collaboration. I've always said this. They're a unique type of alchemy, and when all the pieces come together, you get something. You get this gestalt. It's greater than the sum of its parts.
Absolutely.
And that is a prime example of it, man. That is a badass image.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Mad Ruth? Good to see you, sir.
I was just on a show. He has one of the most fun shows to go on.
Yeah. He's good peeps, man. Had fun being on that show as well. The Friday nights.
Yes.
You guys go check out Mad Ruth's channel if you get a chance. These pages look good. Who's doing the artwork? The interior artwork?
Philip Cruz is the name of my artist, and then and then the name of my colorist is Jesse Hagee.
Beautiful stuff, man. Looks good. Now, have they worked on anything before, or is this their first book together as well?
Jesse has been publishing some stuff, and Philip a few small things. Yeah, but
very cool. It's a good looking book, man. It seems like you got a good team put together, man. Oh, here's the creative team.
Yes,
man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me about this. Dedicated to this is your pop, right? This is your dad?
Yeah, it's my dad. So when I was little, I lost my dad, and I wanted to dedicate the comic to him. And I felt like as I was coming up with the idea, I realized that part of why I was so into superheroes is because when I was a kid, I had this tragedy, and I wanted this sense of justice in the world, and I really felt like superheroes filled in something that was much needed. And it was like when I'm writing, I like to dig down deep into the core of my idea.
Right.
And I felt that was something that was deep in the core, and I felt that it made the story better, which is the most important thing, of course, is that it adds to the story and it makes it better. Absolutely. And so I decided to kind of incorporate that to keep the idea of legacy. We were talking earlier about how people don't go back to the past enough. And that's why I decided to set it 20 years after World War III. So that way there's like examples of heroism, both in everyday people being soldiers and superheroes, that their main character is going to pull from the past and try and keep that going in the modern day.
Right.
And what he's struggling is that he thinks that he's going to struggle with the weight of the world he puts on his own shoulders because he's just not there yet. And that's really,
I mean, the growing pains of a young superhero learning the ropes, you know. And that is definitely something, you know, the early issues of Spider-Man struggled with. You know, that was a definite theme. So you know, there's honestly, I don't think there's enough of that kind of storytelling in comics anymore. You know, there's the learning curve, you know, that a young superhero goes through. Everything's
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say everything's just, you know, oh, they're already established and they're just super badass and they don't have to learn anything.
Right.
That's another reason why storytelling is so flat these days, because there's no actual, you know, story arc. There's no character arc. So go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I mean, I'm in total agreement with you. That was why, and I think it's important, just as important as it is for me to pull from what is actually, it's more important, obviously, to pull from the good. Pulling from the bad is also very important, as saying, I don't want to do that. What character arcs don't work? Well, why don't they work? And I found that my main character, if you'll notice, he's just in a makeshift costume in issue 1, because I felt like he hasn't earned his right to be a full-blown superhero yet. So his superhero name is Galvaknight, which is a name that's way too cool for what the character you're seeing, right? It's because he's created something that he's going to grow into. Eventually, he'll have a more badass superhero costume. Eventually, he'll be better. But in issue 1, it's like he really is coming of age in a superhero setting. And eventually he will be trained by one of the veteran heroes from World War III, but I won't spoil who, that you see up there.
Gotta pick up the comic to find out.
Yeah. And then he'll become part of a team called Phenomenova. That's like the next generation of superheroes.
Okay.
It's like, this is kind of like the precursor, but it also wanted it to be like, if you bought it, you feel like it's a full story.
Yeah. So, how many issues do you think? How big is this story? I guess do you see this as an ongoing thing, or does it have a okay? It's an ongoing.
No, I've written the first 8 issues.
Nice.
They're not all going to be this big, unless I decide to break it up into less big issues, which I could do.
Right.
Depending on how this goes.
That's a solid chunk of story already, you know, established, and it seems like you've got a good response so far, man. So you know, keep building on that. You know, I don't know that there's a lot of ongoing stuff these days, especially in the indie scene. Yeah, you know, it sometimes indie comics it's difficult to do an ongoing story, just because. You know, it is kind of. I mean, it's always contingent upon whether the audience shows up for the story. You know, but being indie, you know, it's a bit more of an uphill battle.
Yes,
because you're establishing these characters. You're getting people interested in these characters. All the more reason why the story's got to be compelling.
Yes,
and you know, it seems to me like you've got a compelling reason to tell this story. You've got a compelling backstory for this story.
I need to.
It's pretty awesome, man.
Revise my issue 2 just in case, because I'm debating if I want to follow this up like with a 24-pager, if I want to do like a 48-pager. I'm debating like combine issues 2 and 3. But if I did, I'd debate if I want to how I'd go about it. But yeah,
that's cool, man. So you say ongoing, but do you have like an end idea in your head of how the story? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
And I also have a backdoor, kind of like my Dark Knight Returns-esque and Hulk the End, Dark Knight Returns, whatever you want to call it, like ending story, in case that could be like a possible future or whatever, in case it either A, because it's a story I want to tell, or B, if I need to end the story at a certain point. I have my backdoor, but I also have my long form ending, both planned out. But I have many, many stories in the future I want to tell. So
nice.
But that's why I rewrote the first issue more than any other issue combined, because I was like, I don't get a first chance.
Now
first
impressions are you don't get a second chance at a first impression. That is true.
Yeah. Now that being said, I wanted it to be a kick-ass. I know that my first issue I hope it's not my best issue.
I mean, you know, that's hopefully people recognize it as like what kicked off this amazing, you know, storytelling, you know, this amazing adventure that they went on with these characters that they care about. Because that's really what it boils down to. You want people to go on this adventure with these characters and care about the characters that you're telling them, the story that you're serving up this story about these characters. You want people to care. You want people to want to go on this adventure with these characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Some person taking your words out of context here. I have a backdoor just in case, long form. Yep. That's the chat. You know, the chat is savage. Yeah. Yep. So is this the beginning of a universe? I mean, I see there's other characters here.
As I was coming up with the background, I was like, this World War III backdrop, this is its own idea. I was coming up with the backstory. I'm like, this should be a story too. So I would love to do a prequel set during World War III with superheroes called Crusader Corps. So, and it sounds like a lot of people would be interested in that, in Crusader Corps. So I'd love to make that. I have ideas for spin-offs too, like have my own kind of Suicide Squad type team I'd love to do. I have other ideas for superheroes in world, kind of like a Punisher style character.
Right.
I have a bunch of ideas, but obviously we start with the main book.
Right.
And then even outside of this universe, you know, I have just ideas for other IPs.
That's awesome. I mean, that's being a creative individual. That's that's kind of the blessing and the curse of being a creator, is that you've got all these different ideas, and there's only so many hours in the day, and so many, you know, there's only so many of those ideas that you can actually, you know, put to paper or get out in the world. So you gotta pick and choose the ones that, you know, mean something to you. So when would you be planning to fulfill this book?
Ideally, I would love to have it fulfilled in the summer. We'll see if that's going to happen, but I'm going to say like fall is possible. I like to give myself extra time just because I've learned everything takes longer than you expect. So fall, but ideally, I'd love to do it by the summer.
Wow.
But we'll
this
see
summer.
But we'll see if that's notable. Definitely by the end of the year.
Okay. Wow. That's amazing.
I mean, look, the book is mostly done.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've noticed that's a lot of that's a lot what a lot of campaigns are doing these days. You know, in the early days of this crowdfunding scene, you know, a lot of books were just kind of getting off the ground when they funded, and so people have been waiting a long time for things, and they're a little gun shy about backing things. So the fact that the book is just about done, people can back with confidence, and obviously they have been. I mean, you're 911% funded already, which is fantastic. Almost $9,200 raised in 8 days. It's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
And on fundmycomic.com.
Yes.
Yeah,
I wanted to put the money where the mouth is, you know.
Absolutely. You know, Luke Stone has done an amazing job with this website, and he's you know, I'm glad to see him getting the support and getting the campaigns on there. The more indie comics go to this platform, I believe the bigger it's going to get. You know, the more eyeballs that we'll get on campaigns. You know, and it's custom built for this. So go ahead and jump on it. This book looks fantastic, dude. I am wicked excited for you. You know, it's always, again, it does my jaded heart good to hear the younger generation picking up on the cool shit that, you know, I grew up on, and that, you know, from the past, and then using it as inspiration to make something new. Yeah. That's really the only way that that this medium is going to continue forward. Yeah. Is if, you know, the younger generation, the new generation, you know, understands what made the old stuff work so well and then applies it to their work now. You know, I was on a show with Pete Cimetti I guess it was a couple weeks ago. And we were talking about, you know, storytelling. Storytelling is the oldest profession in the world, and it's crucial. It's how we kept track of our history. It's how we imparted wisdom to the younger generation. You know, it's how the older generation told the younger generation about what happened before. You know, and it's important to continue that tradition. It's important to continue to tell good stories. You know, storytelling is absolutely crucial. It's an intrinsic part of our experience as a human being. So I think it's fantastic that that you're reaching back and you know, merging the new with the old and trying to tell a good story, man. Hats off to you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been it's been a lot of fun. It's just what comes intrinsic to me. You know, I grew up on a lot of good I just like creating good entertainment. And that means pulling from good entertainment. You know,
and unfortunately, there seems to be a dire lack of good entertainment these days. So you know, anybody that's good,
I'm waiting for the rug to get pulled out from under me, and that's a problem. And I don't plan on doing that to my. Yeah, I'm gonna find a way to censor this. I'll cover up that girl's tits when the book's out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, she definitely looks like she needs to be censored. You know, that's totally
cover up
at
that
any rate.
Muscles.
Yeah, you know, nope. What you see is what you get with this campaign. So everybody, go hit that link and go back this book. So we've been going for about an hour here. What is there anything else you'd like to say about Phenomenova before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, I think so. I think basically, yeah, I mean, just hope you guys back it. Obviously, the sooner this book goes and the more it makes, the faster the next one comes out. But people need to want the next one, which I totally understand. You know, everyone can promise, everyone can pitch. It's a matter of delivering. And, you know, I rewrote over and over. But like I said, so it's 64 pages of story, 68 pages total. You do get at least you get the mini print, and I hope to see you guys on there. And
absolutely. Oh, before we go, let's talk about the fan art contest. That was the one thing we didn't talk about on here. So tell us about the fan art contest.
Yeah, I'm horrible at marketing that. The fan art contest is ongoing. It's and the winner will get voted in the book. I do want to do like an art contest stream out of it, like one stream where I'll have like there'll be like an audience choice, or like maybe I'll do like superlatives. I don't know the exact details, but I do want to do something special with the art contest where I go everything that was submitted. But yeah, I've gotten like 5 submissions, I think now. But so all you got to do is use the hashtag. Make sure you depict my main character, Miles Henksly, aka Galvaknight, and that's it. And I hope to see you guys backing this book.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. So go check out the link. Thanks for dropping that link in the chat there, Mad Ruth. Appreciate you, man. And chat, you guys are fantastic. I appreciate you being here. Vaughn, this has been a blast, man.
A lot of fun.
Gonna have to have you come back on again so we can talk about story and stuff like that.
I'd love to.
You know, when maybe not when shilling a book, just to have a conversation. There's I'm workshopping a new show to have people on for that as well. But yeah, guys, thank you all for being here. Yeah. I appreciate everybody being here. Chat, you rock. And remember,
shop smart, shop S-Mart.